Hey folks, I want to react to Spider-Man No Way Home, but not to the movie itself, more to some of the behind-the-scenes anti-drama that was going on that you can see up there on screen. Spoiler warnings though, you have been warned. If you haven't seen the film, turn back now or proceed and have it, just learn what happens. So Spider-Man No Way Home is the third highest grossing opening ever, and coming off a pandemic, like the theater industry is like, woo! Because while we've had a few movies that have done well and a few even hits, nothing has suggested we are back in business the way we were before, like Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, it could be an outlier, but that's not the point. The big reason that film is cleaning up is because it unites, first of all, it's a great film, but it unites Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, and Andrew Garfield, the three Spider-Men from three different generations from the past 20 years, into one film. And I have to tell you, what I found most heartwarming about this, like what I love most about the film, is watching the three of them on screen together just being bros. just hanging out as different versions of Peter Parker. And one, the script calls for them to be very, instead of bickering and instead of like who's the best Spider-Man, or instead of like having a lot of conflict between them, just immediately every single one of them, like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, get it. Like Tom Holland's Peter Parker is going through some terrible stuff right now, and they get it, and they're here for him. They understand what it's like to hold the mantle, to assume the mantle. They understand what it's like to heed the call. They understand what it's like to suffer devastating loss because of doing this work. And so the script calls for them to be very loving and affirming and supportive, which you just don't see very often. Usually in movies, they might get there eventually, but there has to be conflict and they have to be bickering and not liking each other, and these guys just love each other like immediately. So first, I love the script, but the second thing, and to the point of what I want to talk about today, is these three actors are having a blast. You can tell. I mean, I've worked in film, I've done some acting, and I know people can act like they're having fun or enjoying each other's company, but there's a type of chemistry that can't be faked. There's a type of chemistry of a cast on screen just loving what they're doing and loving their time together and their interplay, and you could see it. You could see it in these three actors. Now, why is this a big deal? Tobey Maguire had three Spider-Man films, two very well received, the third one not so much, and then instead of getting to do a planned fourth film that they were already gearing up for, he got the axe. And his time as Spider-Man was done, and he didn't go out on top. He went out on a low, sour note. And then really, like within 2 years, 2 or 3 years, they replace him with Andrew Garfield. They reboot Spider-Man. And Andrew Garfield gets a first film that's decently received and then a second film that wasn't. And then his time as Spider-Man is unceremoniously cut short, just stopped. He didn't get to do his planned third film. And then Tom Holland is brought in so that Sony can pair up with the MCU to get Spidey right. And he's done, 3 Spidey films and 2 Avengers films and a Captain America film. So he's done this 6 times now, right? You wouldn't blame Andrew Garfield for hating Tom Holland's stinking guts, right? It's just an expression. I think Tom Holland's lovely, but you wouldn't blame him for hating his guts, for stealing my thunder, for being Spider-Man, and you get to do it 6 times and I only get to do it twice, and now you're the cream of the crop and you're the toast of the town and all this, and you could see Andrew Garfield being bitter about that, but he's not. It's not there. You could see Tobey Maguire hating Andrew Garfield and hating Tom Holland. I'm the OG. I'm the best, right? And I should have had a 4th Spider-Man movie. Instead, they replaced me with this guy. And instead, what's there isn't competition, isn't a pissing contest for who's going to do it best. It's just love. It's just a brotherhood. And Tom Holland's talking about this now. He couldn't talk about before that the three of them were in the film. But he's talking about how Tobey Maguire loved being back in the suit and was having so much fun on set. And that Andrew Garfield saw this as a chance to gain some closure with the character that he didn't get to have before. And Zendaya is talking about how Tom Holland was nervous about going to work with these guys, that they wouldn't accept him and that they wouldn't like him. And that everyone just had a wonderful time. And I know press tours, whatever, people say, we had a great cast, we had a great time, but you can see it up there on screen. So how does this happen, and what does this have to do with the rest of us? Right now it's just a heartwarming story. Well, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. There are people in my family with whom I had a falling out, and we're reconciling, and old hurts are just kind of water under the bridge. And recently I went to my 20th high school reunion. Should have been last year, but COVID, so we did it this year. And I went to that thing, and it was so much better than the 10-year. At the 10-year reunion, people are still some of them are acting like they're still in high school, immature and cliquish and arrogant and proud and look at me and posturing. And at the 10-year, also some people were still kind of rude or still kind of in their own little world. At the 20-year, people had seen some shit. At the 20-year, people had been through hardship. A lot of people had been through divorce. They'd been widowed or widowed. They were still single and didn't want to be single and hadn't found that special someone yet. Had lost jobs, lost careers, lost kids. And something about that had the settling effect where we were all just fellow passengers in this boat called life. My high school reunion, all of the drama was gone. All of the judgment and the pettiness was gone. People were just happy to see each other. Not only that, but to make new friendships with people that they never would have made friends with in high school. Just excited to connect and to get to know who people really are. And I reflect on that, and I reflect on family members with whom I'd had a falling out, and now we are reconciling. And I think of how it's done. Some of it is time, some of it's maturity, but a lot of it is being willing to let go. Recognizing at a certain point that we're all pretty imperfect. Recognizing at a certain point that we've all intentionally or unintentionally hurt somebody else. Ironically, it's a line from Spiderman 3, like we've all hurt each other. We need to learn to forgive each other, or everything will have meant nothing. When you hurt others, it makes you more compassionate for the people who've hurt you, or it can if you choose to. Because most of us, when we hurt others, it's because we're trying our best and we don't mean to hurt them, but we do. Or we're hurting, so we lash out. Or we went through a period where we hadn't learned the things that we've learned now, and we look back with guilt or embarrassment on the things that we said or did. In the case of reconciling with certain family members, they asked for forgiveness, and so did I. And we made it right, and we expressed genuine love and concern. In the case of high school reunion, in high school everyone's obsessed with what's cool and what's not, and who's cool and who's not, because we're all playing king of the mountain socially to be accepted, to deal with our insecurities, to be surrounded by friends. And you get to a certain age where you realize you have friends not because you're cool, you have friends because you care about people, and people gravitate to that. And the people who are cool, those friendships don't last. In Hollywood, there's a lot of pride. There's a lot of ego. There's a lot of stepping on others. There's a lot of bitterness and pettiness. Even though I have a YouTube channel, you've probably seen Cinema Therapy about movies and learning healthy relationship skills. Ironically, a lot of people in Hollywood don't have healthy relationship skills. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. They don't have humility. They don't have what it takes to self-reflect. I don't know the process by which Tobey Maguire worked through his hurt towards being replaced by Andrew Garfield, or that Andrew Garfield worked through his hurt at being replaced by Tom Holland, or how Tom Holland worked through his insecurity, even though he's quote-unquote top dog right now, at these older, more veteran actors. But I do know that it had to have something to do with letting go of blame, letting go of resentment, that just because you win doesn't mean I lose, that your victories don't mean my failures. This big bro-off that we see where they have so much love for each other is paying dividends. Now fans are saying, well, we have a multiverse, let's get more Andrew Garfield, let's get more Tobey Maguire, like bring him back, right? We can handle so much more Spidey than you're giving us. I think of Pierce Brosnan when he went out on a low note with Die Another Day as James Bond. And contrary to the character they play, most James Bond actors are lovely people, decent people. Look, I love James Bond, but he's a cad. But Pierce Brosnan had a hard time with Daniel Craig for a while, and he talks about how he finally let go of that and sat down to watch Daniel Craig as James Bond, and was a revelation, and he was happy for him. Humility requires that our insecurities are resolved and filled by doing good and making an impact, not by the praise of others, and not by being on top and being better than others. If we're truly humble, then we can celebrate our successes as well as those of others. If we're truly humble, we don't need to drag them down. If we're truly humble, we're not threatened by others' talents. Just some stray thoughts here and there, I suppose. So, if you haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home, sorry I ruined the movie for you, but I didn't. I didn't tell you what happens all across the board. Go see it. It's fantastic. These are my thoughts. This is Therapist Reacts. If you've enjoyed this, I want to recommend you to our whole playlist, our whole Therapist Reacts playlist. I want to know what you'd like for me to react to in the comments. Something in the news, something in pop culture. I'd love to share my 2 cents as a licensed marriage and family therapist who also holds a degree in psychology. I don't say that. That sounded kind of, look at me. I meant those are my credentials. That's for what I can speak from. I cannot tell you if an ER scene or a police scene or an army scene is done correctly, but I can help with this sort of thing. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. And yeah, let me know in the comments below what you thought of Spider-Man No Way Home as well. and we will see you next time.